Alright, early 90s Tacoma. It's not even really a Tacoma, it's a Toyota pickup. But just want to help you a little bit with diagnosing a no start. It would crank, you know, engine would turn over, but wouldn't fire up. And I just happened to be here helping my neighbor with another project, so I figured I'd take a peek. So you got something like this is what I would do. It can only be one of three things. It could be no fuel, no spark, or no compression. And you could check for fuel a couple different ways. You could pull this air intake boot right here and spray a little bit of starting fluid, carb cleaner, even brake clean. And if it fires up temporarily while you're spraying the fluid in there, it's obviously not getting fuel. It's running because you're adding fuel through a can. Another thing you could do is you could pull one of the spark plug wires and lay it near ground and crank it over, and it should spark out the spark plug. You should see it arcing. And then you could of course check compression, but you're really going to need gauges for that. And, you know, some people would do a test where they like lay a napkin over the spark plug hole and see if it puffs, but you could have 30 pounds of compression and have it puff a napkin, but it's not going to run on that. So what I did was pulled the spark plug wire, laid it up there, no spark. So that would mean nothing about the plug because it's not sparking out the wire. So that could mean an open in the wire, or it could mean, you know, some problems under the cap, or it could mean the coil. And so if it was a problem with one wire, it would not fire one cylinder. That wouldn't cause a no start, that would cause a misfire. So we just checked a couple different wires, neither of them were sparking, and then we went ahead and we pulled this coil wire, which is in the middle of the cap, and that one wasn't sparking. So I figured, hey, pretty likely it's a coil, but didn't really want to gamble on it too much. And so I said, let me get some stuff, and we did a little bit more testing, and several ways you could do it. But if you have a voltometer, this coil, this is the primary for the coil. You should have 12 volts solid on this. I can't even tell what color that is. It might be, I don't know, it's faded. The not black one. That should have 12 volts solid with the key on, and then the ground should pulse to trigger the coil to fire that. So we just, real simple, I didn't get crazy. I just got my meter on there, and I looked for any ground. In fact, really what I did honestly the first time around is I just had my power probe. 12 volts is good, and this one never pulsed any ground, which means it's not getting a signal to fire the coil. So the coil may or may not be good, but if it's not getting its signal, it's not going to work. And so we started looking at this ignition control module, we started looking around, and then I'm not using any service info, this is just looking at it. So I followed this wire here, little harness, and you'll see phone's lagging super bad. It goes into the distributor, and that's where the pickup is that triggers the coil to fire. And so because it was getting no signal, I traced it back to here, popped the cap off the distributor, looked down inside the distributor, and here's what I found. Just blown up windings for the pickup, totally wasted. And so sent the guy to get a distributor, special order unfortunately, and now I'm just shot the distributor in there for him to get it running. And so that was the problem with this no start. You could put spark plugs, wires, cap, rotor, you could have done a fuel pump, you could have done all kinds of stuff, it still wouldn't be fixed. This is the root cause right here. This thing's all blown out, and unfortunately this aftermarket cap that it came with, the wires have no place to clip onto it, so I can't use that. But I put the old cap on at least to get it running for him. I'm just going through some checks right now. Hopefully that helps you with this.